two operators, specifically kind of has had mixed results for teams on this map specifically. But yeah, it was 6-6. Each team won 4 rounds on defense. SSG banned out a Maverick.
Hey, are you predicting the future?
I'm predicting the future by using
reading the past.
Yes. We're doomed to repeat it. Will it be a Monty? No, it's Glass.
So that leaves Shields in play for DarkZero, who's starting on an attack. That's also not the safest situation to be in if you're Space Station defense starting out on the defense.
Bandit. So it is going to be used.
Yeah, is that our first Bandit ban in a very?
No, I think he's been banned once before. Last time have banned them as well once. I'm not sure if he was removed in.
Oh wait, no, wait. It might have been a qualifier game.
There was a border match where he was taken away.
I also remember a clubhouse game where Bandit Capital was banned by one team. I don't remember which one. That might have been Rogue Immortals from SI though.
Are you sure you want to remember that game?
No.
But Bandit...
Not even remotely.
Bandit Maestro removed. Back when these two teams played in January, it was Jaeger and Echo. So, like, the other operators didn't get banned in the situation.
Well, Space Station Gaming, it's like a pretty normal
There we go. We're not going to ban a shield. We're probably going to play Blitzer Monty. You give Mint the ability to do this.
Oh, he's 6-picking off of it.
Oof, it's just a tease. Oh.
It's a bait. Although Bosco 6ing off the smoke to facilitate the Kaid.
But you have Thatcher, so you don't care.
Yeah, you're looking pretty good.
And I don't think Cause is going to have that big of an effect in North America just because everybody and their mother plays Thatcher.
Yeah, we saw the graphic heading in. It was Ashe at 55% pick rate, and
Thatcher's
Thatcher
number
at 54.
Now.
And yeah, we have not seen as much Ashe as we've seen Thatcher all evening. So Thatcher definitely taking the lead. I actually don't think there's any way Ashe could surpass the #1 spot after those 2 games, considering the lack of Ashe we saw. So Thatcher resumes his position as the #1 picked attacking operator in North America. And that's not really surprising at all to see him coming out as well on Clubhouse.
One thing, I don't believe you can impact through the garage anymore.
Impact trick, but the garage walls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remove the wild.
No, you can still impact trick these. Yeah, there's still that gap there.
Well, you can crouch and just not deal with it at all, right? But yeah, in this case, you have both hard breaches that you're running. So what usually would happen is that you place the Habana holes and just use those as a way to kind of shut down the rotations. And also anybody is playing from the opposite end of it. You do have to watch for... Oh, look at that. The amount of damage done for Thinking Nate early on. That's not great.
It's down to 5, but Brian is bringing a dock. So we'll have to use a lot of utility, and Rampy's going to get droned out inside of Garage at the bottom. Brian docking up Thinking Nate, so they're going to get back to almost 100, and Thinking Nate almost loses his head for it.
Yeah, so first of all, the Doc can't move out of this position. He's the one that's going to play the catwalk, also has the support of Rampy. But it's a rush. DarkZero already in. G36 is being run by Nyx, and he fires right into the Doc and takes him out. One from below as well. The Legion is spotted and taken away. Rampy's out of the board. And now it's Bosco, Chala, and Thinking Nate. Now, at least the mute is back up to high rep HP, but this is beautiful play from DarkZero, guided by the hand of the Egg himself. PC, Bosco in the back. The Ashe of Nyx opening things up into the lounge. Shala, they know he's there. They just want to shut him down, and the drone will give them even more information on what's going on in the back. They'll have to worry about a stick of C4. And other than that, I'm not even sure if Thinking Nate is anywhere near helping us. Mint's the one carrying the diffuser. In the meantime, things have kind of died off after the huge advantage that these were able to get.
They got their rush in, they got their control, they got their 2 picks onto Brian and Rampy. The garage control completely dismantled. Now Mint dropping down a plant in behind the server rack. No Nitro Cell coming out from Thinking Nate. A flank though from Chala in the basement looking skyward. Thinking Nate finally lands the Nitro. Well late though as the plant is completed. Hot and cold will take down Thinking Nate. Pistol in hand for Chala in complete desperation. He'll be decapitated by Brandon Carr, leaving Bosco alone. Ooh, a nice angle, and then Nyx is able to deal quite a measurable amount of damage onto his torso, but it's hot and cold on the rappel outside of the balcony once again with that 5-5-6, and Space Station Gaming will surrender round #1.
I want to say that was an excellent bit of play from DarkZero. That reminded me of the old FaZe Clan. That reminded me of we go in, we get 2 kills, and then we stop. And then the defense doesn't know how to react to us. They're just in awe because you leave them in a shock state. And then as the defense tries to regroup, that's when you strike a second time. It's just well executed, very well timed. DarkZero, just overall an extremely impressive round. That was, even the smokes, everything was so well timed. It's just beautiful to watch.
So I don't really like putting rounds on one instance, but I really think the shots through the drone hole, I believe that was from Hot and Cold as well, onto Thinking Nade, the mute that was playing top cash. I honestly feel like that's the difference maker on the round, because Thinking Nade is supposed to hold the breach hole as soon as it gets open to prevent that kind of rush, but he was over by Catwalk on the rotate, getting docked up, and then ran into cash as the wall erupted,
exactly.
And the rush came through. So there's no more coverage top cash stairs to prevent the rush. Those shots to the drone hole might have won DarkZero the round. Obviously, the rest of the round had to be converted upon, but a great start and just one small change in your setup could break it wide open.
And why did that happen? The Doc couldn't go away from the catwalk. As I said, if he went away, then they would lose a huge advantage that was available in the round, which is, I'm on the catwalk. I have one of the most easily defendable positions because there's not much that can deal with me in this spot, and I can heal myself. But now, my teammate has taken a lot of damage. I have to worry about that, and I can't even move out of this position. It was just all very well timed by DZ for them, but also the fact that, well, SSG kind of gave them the advantage, and they ran with it. And both Nyx and Rampy on the opposite end playing the G36 Ashe nowadays, which is, you know, pretty good. It works out pretty well. You don't have the ACOG anymore, the R4C, but a lot of players just don't really care about the ACOG. The ones that do, they have a pretty good alternative on the other side with the G36.
Yeah, you know, there were a couple people. Ooh, Mint's going to start things off onto Chala, though. The Legion will be felled 50 seconds in. I imagine that was over by Blue, as the Legion mine was triggered by the blue stairs. And yes, we see a large trail of blood and a rotting corpse at the base of the blue stairs. Chala dispatched of. I actually entirely forget what my point was that I was going to say before that. Oh, well. It's a good start there again for DarkZero, getting that early pick. Last time it was the early damage, and there's also Rafters control right now for Space Station on the defense, and it looks like it'll be next to contest with Jarvis holding the cash stairs flank. But it's a lot of blue control right now for DarkZero, a man advantage. It's honestly, it's slowly falling apart here for Space Station. They've got a man stranded on an island upstairs with no real rotate down. DarkZero has all the coverage they need, and it's like this man inside of Rafters is just gonna try and kill as much time and maybe take one with them if possible.
Now Bosco is gonna set up his second Electric Claw, I assume. Not sure if he used it early on, but still, the electrified hatches are definitely hurting the attack so far. But they have the way to deal with it. They have BC. It's just he's not there. There you go. He'll open up the side, and the MP will come in an easy time here. Habana to open up the hatch. There's not much for you to do. You can trick and play the second Electric Claw, but that would be a bit too much utility to use in that situation. Flashbang being used in the back to push away the Cloud, and they'll be very successful in doing so here, DZ, as Hot and Cold will open up the wall on the side. No, it'll get impacted by the Cloud playing right behind the wall.
Play there from Bosco, but BC and Jarvis tag in for 2. Brian with an immediate trade onto Jarvis, but now it's Brian at the blue door and Bosco inside a church, left alone to try and fend off. Time not on the side of DarkZero, those. They're all going to have to condense onto the objective. Time ticking away as Bosco's going to wide peek out. Brian has been down. It's Bosco alone. BC cleans it, and Mint decapitates him with ease with the bearing 9. No shot comes off from Bosco, and Space Station Gaming surrender 2 in a row to start the defensive half. DarkZero looking incredibly strong right now at picking apart individual portions of Space Station setups.
They kind of took their time with it, right? But it was very effective. It's a different play style to what we saw in the very first round, where it's much more segmented in the way they did it, and you can clearly tell that there were phases to the assault, not as much here. But at least DarkZero were doing their homework. They cleared out top floor. They made sure there was nobody to roam around and play against them. Once they isolated everybody, they had the manpower to flank around and use it and get kills off of it. Once it was a 4v2, at that point, the round is pretty much, you know, done and dusted. So, Space Station Gaming back down on the basement in Church. And for a lot of teams and a lot of players, when you go back down to the same site that you lost the round before, it's because you realize what the mistake was that you made, and you have a way of clearing it. If you look at the time and how Space Station ended up, you know, team-wise and manpower-wise by the end of the round, you can start to understand this sort of logic. Okay, well, we had the time. We could have used it to our advantage. We didn't. We know a way to fix it. However, we also lost a lot of manpower to pure gunfights, and that's not something we can actively rely on all the time. So maybe next time it'll be better. And this is the gamble they're putting on. However, you definitely don't want to do it the way that we saw in Latin America, where I believe it was Red Devils. Was it Red Devils or NTZ? I think it was NTZ. Who played this site like 4 times in a row to force the die. They literally played a number 8.
It was Red Devils against Black Dragons. They got 7-0'd.
Yeah. That wasn't great. That was the Red Devils, yeah, specifically Red Devils. Oh, man.
Well, it's, again, another situation of Space Station Gaming trying to adapt. Last round, they stick Rampy in the rafters, but DarkZero play it markedly patient and honestly reserved. They don't go in frag hunting for Rampy. They get their first pick on a T'Challa inside of blue, which allows them their ingress point. They know where they want to pivot their attack from, which was those blue stairs. They alleviate the only really obstacle in their path. And they just cover the rotates down and know that Rampy is going to come for a flank at some point. They had main stairs, they had cache stairs, they didn't have any hatches open. It's an easy collection of a free kill for DarkZero at that point, and it left another heavy man disadvantage for Space Station Gaming on the objective.
Let's see the EMP being thrown in to destroy Electroclaw in the back. Rampy on the opposite end of the hallway, though, in the armor age, looking down. The Ash of Nyx has moved away from the entry point. The stairs is being watched by the green box. There's DarkZero, as we saw in the previous round, taking their time for the assault, and because they have the time to kind of gauge the situation and really know exactly where their opponents are and how they would push into them, it gives them a big advantage once the push actually happens and they can descend upon defense here from Space Station Gaming. Still, no advantage to be found at the minute mark. DarkZero have opened up most of the holes, most of the places that they require for this final attack, even the Habana, making sure that they have an angle on the feet. No player in Church.
Jarvis going to send out some smoke bolts into blue to disrupt the visibility of not only T'Challa, but Brian as well. Toxic Babe in turn meet the ingress, but now Asphyxiating Bolt going to come out now up against the wall. So there's a smoke bolt. Now the Asphyxiating Bolt into the rotate on the backside. T'Challa will fall, but Thinking Nade bursts out of the blue server. SSG now picking up 2. A third one now as Thinking Nade collects with the 416. Brian is down, or sorry, on 1 HP. He's able to collect a kill on 1 before Mint will hit the trade with the Bearing 9. But now a 1v3 to work out of. It does not appear as if DarkZero will grab 3 in a row in the offense. Stuck on a rotate, nowhere to go. Mint will fall, and Space Station Gaming bring one back in their favor. Still at a deficit. They look much better at repelling that blue push this time around. Thinking Nade winning his gunfight out behind that server rack, really being the catalyst on that one. They don't sacrifice that pivot point in behind that that generator inside of blue. They don't sacrifice the rotate. There's a crossfire from K9 and inside of blue at the oil pit tunnel at that point. Beautiful play there on the reaction from Space Station Gaming, but now they head upstairs, and I imagine this time they'll be much more prepared for an insurgence of 3 members through a breach hole a millisecond after it detonates.
Yeah, really the problem is that you're trying to repeat the same thing that you did in the previous round. The big problem is, well, they kind of adapted. Space Station knew how the attack was going to go, how you're segmenting your push here if you're DarkZero, so they ended up replaying the site. But DarkZero kind of took so long that it wasn't a great situation. by the time the attack actually had happened.
Well, almost identical operators coming out. This time it's Mint not taking up the Hibana, but instead taking the Nomad. So limiting rotations even more now for Space Station Gaming will make their life a proverbial hell, trying to bust out of cache into server to try and stop a plant. And then the last time that they defended this site as well, the very first round, Thinking Nade was quite slow at getting that Nitro cell off. He didn't actually launch it out until the plant was already completed, and Mint had got the plant down. So timing there for Space Station has to be crucial. Obviously, you've lost the Evil Eyes. Could still bring an Echo instead for visibility. We saw how crucial that was for Rise on their consulate game against Reciprocity. Having that visibility and just knowing when timing should be for Nitro cells or kills through floor or just shots through a wall. Seems like there's just a lack of information inside the objective for Space Station.
Similar setup from DarkZero here, but no rush.
No rush.
No rush. They're taking their time, that's for sure. Meantime, BC is going to run his Breaching Charge.
Breach charge is activated.
Which is pretty nice, actually. Breaching Charge is kind of underrated. Obviously, the recent change helps when it comes to breaching on a horizontal plane. However, on a vertical plane, they function pretty much the same way. And we see a lot more usage of breaching charges when it comes to just opening that vertical angle for you to look down, opening hatches, etc. Having one player with breaching charges is pretty good. You don't always need like 17 claymores on your team. In this sort of attack, you're not really having to worry about flanks as often as you do on other sites. Clubhouse in general is not one that you really need to worry about flanks if you're on the attacking side. So it works out pretty well just to have the extra flexibility of the breaching charges. Mint playing Nomad, you already heard him set up one of his air jabs, and that's pretty much in the back. That's your flank watch. You have an air jab. You don't really need the claymore, the extra claymore that is brought, and yeah, that happens.
Trying to finesse a flashbang up through those very, very tiny kill holes at the top, just made for impact grenades. They're also worried about anyone coming from the stage hatch below, but Nyx has that covered. The blue stairs flank coming from Charlo. One shot pre-fire, and more will follow to give away his position, but a second one coming down now from Rampy. He gets spotted. We'll retreat back at the cache stairs as there goes the wall from construction as well into CCTV and cache. Got Jarvis holding out the window, trying to peer through some toxic smoke that has been launched out from the defense. Another one will be sent out from Bosco, but it appears to have been shot out of midair or on its landing point as it hear the telltale signs of that click from Bosco, but nothing will plume. And now Hot and Cold with 30 seconds left wants to push in for a plant. Nyx will grab one downstairs. There goes your flank. The last Toxic Babe from Bosco will detonate and suspend this plant attempt once again. BC taking a lot of damage, but so was Bosco, and Nyx trying to break out for the server wall, but here comes Brian and Thinking Nade for two. Mint will trade one out, so it's down to a 3v3. Diffuser not collected, Jarvis unaware, but Nyx will collect another body into the grave, and another one for Nyx, going on a run with the G36, the impact nade in the improper position. Again, not enough information. Oh, but he's got the impact grenade directly on the spot, and Rampy from down below, inside a lounge, stops the defuse in Space Station. Rampy on the 1v3 clutch, able to stop the plant, and they tie things up at 2-2.
Beautiful bit of play there from Rampy. Having the extra impact grenade, he basically just fired up the two ones that he had into the default planting positions, and that's what he found. A ton of experience there for the player, and that's all he needed. Figure out where the last one is. The Thermite took a lot of damage, and then got shot.
Incredible intuition, because that bulletproof camera from Brian on the dock was the only source of intel inside the objective. Maybe if you're DarkZero, you want to maybe dismantle that as well when you're on your push, but obviously a lot of chaotic sequences happening inside the objective with no time.
And DarkZero needed Nyx to shut down the rotation. The instant I saw him move away from the bar, I'm like, okay, 100%. Knowing Nyx in the way he's going to play, he's going to move in, because he saw two players. One in blue and one by the stairs, and he knows that the flank is going to come in from SSG at some point in time. Goes into the stock room and plays from there to shut down one of the rotations. He knows there's still one more player, but he's going to gamble on the fact that that was the player that was already playing the stairs and will go back up. He doesn't have to worry about blue.
Yeah.
moves around, does the job, gets another kill off of it, but he's too far away to do any work on the top floor, and by the time he's back up to do anything, DarkZero are kind of out of time.
Well, the biggest problem there is Nyx goes for a rotate through stock, right? And he comes back up this wall that Marcio was just hovering over. It was the server wall, the one you blew open in the first 30 seconds, right here. He comes for this flank, and he gets 2 monumental kills. Monstrous, just chews through the last remaining anchors. But like you said, by evacuating his position downstairs, he allows Rampy to come downstairs and salvage the whole round for Space Station, a round that should have been well in the control and success of DarkZero. We talk about Clubhouse as a defender-sided map a lot. That would have been 3 rounds in the attack for DarkZero. You're sitting pretty at that moment, regardless of what happens in the first half after that point, if you collect that round. Instead, Nyx getting 2 kills, but eventually giving up the flank that would ultimately cost him the round. It's an unfortunate circumstance for him and DarkZero, and now they stand at a stalemate once again at a 2-2.
It's good from SSG to be able to come back in the previous round, but it was way too close for comfort. You can't really just rely on that every single round, right? Nyx, in the meantime, will open up the barricade. And to Cash, they'll spot the 1 player playing in there, that's Rampy. There's also a soft wall by the opposite end of construction. It'll allow DarkZero, or well, the defensive Space Station, excuse me, to kind of play against this. Oh, Thermite Charge has already been expended and taken away. That's your second set now. Jarvis taking a lot of damage, and Mint's the only one with any sort of hard breach, but no, runs away. Jarvis is going to be able to find Rampy. At least that's something out of it, but that's a lot of damage and a lot of utility taken away from the attacking side of DarkZero.
See Mint peering through this very tight angle in towards Master. A lancing of pre-fire just won't connect onto Brian as he's positioned in behind the mattress, and the shot's going a few millimeters over his head. Now Brian will be dropped in down. He'll self-revive himself, and no one collecting the kill. Brian able to escape to safety at 75 HP after being downed by an onslaught of bullets coming from the windows, and Space Station just unaware, no cam on to confirm the down, and no one holding his rotate back out. They throw in the shots and then fall off the angle, and that could be a massive mistake here for DarkZero. They also don't have an entry point in through Jacuzzi Wall, and they have no more breaching potential. Mint trying to crawl in through, and he'll just barely make it, but he runs into a castle barricade with almost no time remaining. DZ circling the drain. They've got really nowhere to go. Mint still holding down the Jacuzzi hallway, but there's not a lot to be done here. Flashbangs come raining out in behind the deployable into logistics, and Nyx is going to have to be monstrous up above this logistics hatch, rushing straight through, and DZ grab 3. It's all Bosco alone. 5 HP, and the diffuser is recovered by Jarvis. Inside of the bathroom, they all rush in, and Nyx collects the kill. Oh my, a clown fiesta from DarkZero somehow gets salvaged. And a gym bedroom defense nearly puts Space Station Gaming in the driver's seat of this game, winning 3 consecutive. But it's DarkZero coming away with that eventual 3rd attacking round. So, well, yeah, with that round. Guess let's go back. Let's run that back. Not a lot of time left. It's a 5v4 in the favor of DarkZero with 15 seconds remaining, 17 seconds remaining, and DarkZero decide at that moment it's time to go. And
Capital bolts were very important for that, to say the least. I mean, at the end, you're smoke, you're tagged so low on HP, and you're pretty much stuck. If only you could ankle the shower to kind of push away the asphyxiating bolt, right? But you can't do that. In that situation, you're pretty much boned. And that's exactly what had happened. Not a lot of flexibility in the round. Space Station starting off pretty well, but they lost Rampy. As he was trying to run away, there was nobody to deal with the Capital that was just set on the window, and after that, it was, like I mentioned, the Clown Fiesta, the rush into logistics, playing as well, the main stairs. Nobody was watching at some point. The Habana holes were a bit odd because you didn't have really much room to maneuver because you didn't have the thermite anymore. And those Habana holes were more meant as a, we're going to have line of sight into the hallway, and that's really going to be the best thing that we can do with it.
Yeah, I don't imagine the intention of the plan was we're going to make prone holes in Jacuzzi Wall and I'll crawl in through there. That seemed like a last-ditch survivalist round there for DarkZero, and they somehow pull it out. And really, at that point, that just comes down to gunfights and having a slight man advantage. They had the 5v4. They had a little bit of a health advantage as well. Good spot there from Nyx as the Legion Mine was intentionally deployed to the right-hand side of the doorway to keep it out of purview, but good droning there in front of Nyx as well. And as much as we harped on Nyx last round, or the round previous, the one that just transpired, that round, again, like I said, he was going to have to go monstrous on the logistics hatch. He grabs, I think, 3 kills at the end of the flurry there. Good work from him.
That was the work that Nyx really took on board. Definitely was that, you know, the first day he entered the team, basically, and just really lived up to the expectations pretty fast. And here, it's already the Jaeger taken away. Why is the Jaeger here? I don't know. Should have been right behind the generator. I don't know if he was setting up something late into the round, but that's not a spot that you should be caught off guard into, especially since that's the hatch that was opened up by Habana. You know that that was the case. Maybe he was just trying to peek around and find the kill on the Habana, but you don't. Just play it safe. Why are you peeking?
Yeah, the first round they defended this site, in round number 2, it was Chala. First to die in 30 seconds as the Legion inside of blue, right in front of that generator. Then the next time they defend, thinking Nate stays alive and bursts out of the generator and grabs a pick and holds a crossfire on blue and is instrumental in SSG picking up the round. Now again, inside the first minute, you have a member playing blue, getting aggressive or caught out of position. We didn't see what happened. Still, losing your life inside of blue, it's an early man disadvantage again for Space Station, and it seems to be history repeating itself for Space Station on the defense downstairs.
Well, now it's up to Mint to try and open up an extra hole. I'm not sure if Hot and Cold still has more of his charges. Check for that. There we go. One more charge of the Texan Dynamite left in the back pocket. Habana holes might have been a bit too far forward to allow a safe cross, but that's the last set of Exkyros. I believe Chala will do anything about it. No, actually Impact tricks it and wins it out because he used it through the hole. Rampy will find the kill on Nyx, though. To equalize things, the Ash and the Jaeger. 2 operators taken away. They're yin and yang, I guess. Now Cold has that extra set of exothermic charge, but he can't actually use it for much. He finds the kill on Brian right behind the bomb itself. The Habana opening things up. A lot of damage done into the back, and now the thermite charge is set and hot and will open up the wall. Rampy will find the kill on Jarvis as behind the black box. They'll be able to find Chala, but no, oh no.
Thank you, Crab.
No, he's still alive. Hot and Cold opting to plant behind the one position where he can actually get shot, not behind the black box. He'll be able to go for the plant right there at the end, right before being downed. A 2 versus 1 as Mint goes in on the cross. A lot of damage done and taken away. Bosco off the board. Mint's just going to walk away from all of this and wait for information from his teammates. As BC is downed as well. Can go for the counter defuse here. Flashbang into the back as Rampy is expecting the dive. And indeed it will happen, but Rampy finds it! Mint goes down! And Space Station will recover the round. And at the half, we end it straight up 3-3 tie. Oh man, unfazed! Rampy is on fire.
What happened? BC was giving the call. He was down right beside the church table.
Yeah.
He watched him peek it. Did the call just not come out that he's peeking church door? Because Mint was facing the breach hole. At that point, you got to isolate your calls. Door or hole. Door or hole. Simplify. Make it easy for Mint in that situation. I feel like that was just a case of BC giving a call and Mint not really understanding it, or maybe a call was inaccurate, or because if BC's down there, he's a human drone. He's a human drone. He's watching it unfold in front of him. He knows where the peak is happening. He's watching him cross straight in front of him, and the call just doesn't come out for Mint. For Mint from BC, that is. Wow. Incredible clutch there, though, from Rampy. Got to give him that one. And Space Station Gaming, they salvaged the first half. They draw it 3-3. DarkZero still looking good, but this is on DarkZero now to just remain firm on their defense. You've also got 2 members of Space Station Gaming who haven't provided a whole lot of impact on the scoreboard, that is, in terms of kills. They've definitely been utility operators, but we've talked about Chala dying pretty early in a couple rounds. Talked about Bosco not really having a lot of effect with his Toxic Babes on the smoke as well. it's been a rough go for the both of them at the bottom of Space Station's board, and for them to really bounce back and either bring this to a draw or eventually a Space Station win, those two need to be activated. Those two need to be in play and clicking with the rest of the team.
Yeah, and it's odd to say this about, you know, the way DarkZero plays, right? That there's the round that definitely should have been DarkZero's by the way they played it. I mean, they had the advantage. Thermite shouldn't even been able to open up the wall.
It's a couple rounds, really, in that first half that should have been DarkZero's.
Yeah, if you look at it, and it's
round 3,
Rampy.
Round 6.
It's just Rampy doing the work. All right, continue on. They sit pretty at the half. It's a bit different than what we saw the first time the two played. It was a 4-2 at the half, and the defense was winning overall. But this continues the strategy of a tie is definitely a possibility in this.
Rampy gonna isolate a member downstairs. I believe that was Jarvis on the Ella. Didn't actually catch who it was. No, it's the Vigil of Mint inside of Moto now, and he'll peel back all the way to Church, but you still have Hot and Cold upstairs roaming inside of Cache.
That's a lot of soft operators. Between the Valkyrie, the Alibi, the Vigil, the Ella, and the Legion, it's a lot of disruption, a lot of roam potential. It obviously leaves you very soft and brittle on the site itself, but your edges are very hard. You got a big crust there to deal with.
Well, it's Nyx and Hot and Cold. Now the Jackal track's coming out onto Hotton. It's got support from Jarvis as well. Like you said, the mobility of these operators. Nyx, you know, getting caught out on a rotate out here. Is thinking Nate inside of stock. Will miss the shots onto Jarvis, but he will collect it. Oh! Hot and Cold, another one! Nyx walking clean into a pre-fire. Not exactly sure what the intention was there, but it'll leave DarkZero to 2-man deficit, possibly about to be 3, as now Jarvis is cut out inside of blue stairs, and Thinking Nate has crossed to the hatch.
That was basically a free kill given away. And suddenly this roam play is not really working out too well, though still Ella up close is definitely a powerhouse to deal with, and Mint on the Vigil. You can stay around and use and abuse and play around the drones from opponents at Space Station, unless Chala can find this. No damage taken, and none sent the other way. So now Rampy, what will he decide on? Brian with a flash in. They know the Ella of Jarvis is there, and Bosco at the last second spots Jarvis diving down the blue stairs. Kill one more for Space Station. Taking a bit of damage. Have not lost a single player so far. More damage to be done on Mint. The Vigil now at around 30 HP. Chala chuck in 1-2 flashes now to pull his opponents away, but this is the push that Space Station are looking for, and they ingress from the opposite angle. Bosco will find one more kill, and the second as well. Mint taken away as the diffuser is being planted on the opposite end of the map by Church. Space Station pick up the round here, 4-3.
Bosco comes alive, gets 3 kills in the round. DarkZero kind of give away a couple picks there at the top of the blue stairs, and then yeah, the roaming of DarkZero picked apart quite handedly by Space Station. The Jackal coming out from Rampy instrumental in that, locking down Mint, isolating his position, and then switching the track to Hot and Cold, knowing where the Alibi was maneuvering upstairs by Cache and then coming down Cache stairs. Obviously, Jarvis and Nyx were trying to support Hot and Cold in his retreat, but eventually and ultimately it cost the lives of both of them. And it was a very unsuccessful roam, but it'll be DarkZero electing to head back downstairs, and a 6-pick off of a smoke to a Vigil once again for Mint, so they'll run
again
the same operators, barring the mute, only differential there, instead of the Alibi.
I don't know, is this going to be enough?
It comes down to play style more than operators. I mean, you have a lot of utility here with BC, with Nitrocell, Hot and Cold with Nitrocell, and then you've got 3 deployable cameras from, not deployable cameras, sorry, the Black Eyes from BC on the Valkyrie. You have the Ella Mines and the Legion Traps. So, I mean, you have a lot of utility to deploy. It's not a normal setup, really. You're used to some more anchors and some plant denial in the form of maybe an Echo or a Maestro, which is banned, or a Doc or a Rook, something heavier, maybe a Kaya downstairs. It's against the norm, but you still have a lot of utility. It comes down to playstyle, though. It looks like Hot and Cold is again going to try and implement some of this roam as he finishes up reinforcing. the server exterior wall. Drops a mute jammer beside it as well. Nyx gives him a rotate to the rafters. So once again, DarkZero trying to implement some map control on the 3rd floor here on Clubhouse while defending the basement.
All right, well, SSG repeat the same style as they did in the previous round. They're doing very well. Actually, DarkZero are also doing this very well when they were on the attacking side. But just, let's clear the top floor. We're going to do it. We're going to do it pretty effectively. Once that's done, it's all smooth sailing from there. Mint and Rampy exchanged pretty much the same amount of damage done to one another. So both remain alive in the situation, which is at least one redeeming factor to the strategy. But now, you still have to deal with the remaining players that are in cache, that are in the server. The mute jammers are going to slow things down, but for not too long, as Bosco be able to take these things out here. Jammer set on the side. He's going to see it by the Inox, and there you go. Jammer's been taken away. They'll analyze and find the Vigil again. So at least keeps the Vigil Mint far away for now, but it's not like he can do much with so little HP.
Ooh, spotting through the bottom of the barricade. Does that look like it was hot and cold flexing down the stairs? Either that or is BC coming up, but nonetheless, another member of the DarkZero roam isolated. The Jackal pings this time around from Rampy coming out onto hot and cold, playing inside of cache. This top floor setup for DarkZero, it's doing a better job at stalling out and not being so sacrificial this time, but this is a prime opportunity for Space Station to turn tail and head directly for the objective and mirror kind of what was happening last time when they defended, in which DarkZero just kind of peeled back and held the rotates and pushed the objective with no real suppression.
Nyx taking some damage before falling off, thinking Nade will find the kill and take it away. The C4 does not connect in the meantime, and no damage to be done. There's one player as well. The back of garage, he dives on down, and that's an easy kill, hot and cold. Taken away, one more spotted up the stairs. Information has been given out against the Ela. Goes pre-fire through the wall, but so close, there's literally 0 reinforcements there. And the Ela looking away. Bosco takes a lot of damage in the situation, but it only leaves BC and Mint alive against the 5 of Space Station. It's a repeat of what we had before. So little time left. DarkZero have the opportunity, with the Nitro Cell remaining, to bring it back. But if Church is taken away, if Mint dies here, it's all for naught. And there you go. He's going to get taken away. Thinking Nade has to dive down, and before the diffuser even gets set or is anywhere near the site, Bosco does even more damage and wins the round. Bosco, the past couple rounds, has just been doing excellently, and it's not like something you wouldn't be expecting from a player of his caliber.
Well, DarkZero were looking good, picking up 3 attacking rounds in their first half on Clubhouse. But now they head to the defense, and they invest a lot of manpower and a lot of utility upstairs while defending Church Arsenal, and it doesn't really bear any fruit, honestly. It kills about 2 minutes of each of the rounds, but at the end it comes down to a 5v2 for the site execute in favor of the attacking team, which is Space Station. In back-to-back rounds, that's tough, honestly. If you're the roamers out there and you're not getting anything back, obviously the lockdowns from the Jackal, that's been oppressive for DarkZero to have to contend with. And I think that's why, honestly, there was so much investment into personnel heading upstairs. Like, you saw Jarvis's Ela flank up the cache stairs as well. They just kept throwing bodies at it, because I thought it looked like it was DarkZero just trying to turn it into a war upstairs and take as many with them as possible. Just unsuccessful. And they were using the Jackal pings as bait to draw everyone in to come for this huge onslaught inside of cache. And none of the gunfights went their way. There was a lot of crossfires, and it was always someone on a rotation for DarkZero that was getting picked off. You know, one guy vaulting over the rafters, another guy pushing up the cache stairs, hot and cold, moving in through the cache rotate as well. So it's
a bit of damage here and there. You know, you're chipping off parts of the players, but then once the actual assault comes in, because you're trying to bait things, as you said, with the Jackal tracks, you end up just getting easy finishers because you know where your opponents are. You know how many exits they have available. You just lock them down and hold off the rotations. And there you go. It's all done and dusted at that point. The change now, at least for DarkZero, is that they go for the bedroom. So we're going to see how that works out or not, because this is not an easy site to hold for the defense. It just comes down to how much time can you waste in cache or in construction, or both, which is even better. And so far, not looking like there's too much from SSG's side when it comes to the aggression itself, and you're going to see one player downstairs. Unfortunately, a rule set speaking, this is not allowed to rehost the round for it. But if Hot and Cold does not reconnect by the end of this, then we will have to get... It's actually pretty weird because everybody from DarkZero plays in the same house, which is okay. But 249 being brought out by Rampy, and he's running the new optic on it.
Running the new scope, and we also saw there from the purview of a drone from Space Station that Rampy will also have sights on in a second. So mirror window and another rotation caught out Jarvis. This Castle playing the mirror in lounge, trying to stop any aggression from Space Station into the bottom portion of garage. It doesn't really work out. No one really watching his back, and you got to wonder how that round would have transpired differently if Hot and Cold hadn't disconnected. Maybe Hot and Cold was intended to be the support over by Lounge, maybe with some punch holes. It looked like he was positioned there earlier on, but unfortunate disconnect, and so the sacrifice of both his life and Jarvis's. BC now being constantly pinged out into the rafters, and you've also got Nyx laying prone in weight in the rafters as well. This is going to come to blows, and it does not look like it's going to bear well for DarkZero at a two-man deficit. The ADS is being burnt out now by Chala. Flashbang comes in, the asphyxiating bolt will down off BC. He is the doc, he can self-revive, but another asphyxiating bolt will come in and chew him down. It'll light him up, and now it's Nyx prone, and now peeking over the railing. He'll grab one, he's got pings onto a second one, lighting up beside of Thinking Nate, but can't collect the finishing blow. Thinking Nate will drop Mint, and it's all Nyx alone. The X-Kairos on his backside, twisting, but nowhere to go. Pinned down like an animal locked in a cage. His only ADS salvaging him from the flashbangs come flying in, down to 5 HP, and there's no survival for the newest member of DarkZero. And Space Station Gaming will guarantee themselves a point, up 6-3. Flawless on the attacking side so far on Clubhouse.
Just excellent. Excellent play from Space Station. This is an SSG that is not afraid of DarkZero and what they bring. And this might be like one of those rare upset weeks. You can look at EG Rogue as a potential upset. It's more of a EG have been stifled for just a bit and they only get 1 point. It doesn't move them up the standings, and that's really the biggest part of it, because had they won against Rogue, they would have been in #1. Rogue gave it their all, and they were able to survive off of it, so kudos for them in doing that. But, you know, Reciprocity then falling to Rise Nation, which allows Rogue to be a bit more flexible and happier with their position at the end of the day. SSG potentially locking down DarkZero at the end of it. This actually ends up working pretty decently for Rogue out of all the teams.
Yeah.
But Space Station can now take the position above Rogue if they do end up winning this final round. Right now, they tie, and if we look at Rogue SSG in terms of aggregate so far,
they tied the first game 6-6 on Porter.
Exactly. So that was a 6-6. They play their next game to break that tie in week 12, so in 2 weeks. So now you have more storylines that are kind of evolving through as we move on from match to match within the same playday. And if that doesn't excite you watching at home or wherever you are, I don't know what will. Because even at the end of the season, the last few weeks of it, we still actually have no clue who's going to go to Milan.
No idea. I think the only team we could reasonably lock in is Empire.
Yeah, actually.
Out of all 4 regions, including APAC, we have no clue.
I think by the end of this week, they're pretty much going to lock it down if they do end up getting the victory. But yeah, I do agree.
So they got 7 more to figure out. It's going to be a fun time, and Rampy is going to isolate Hot and Cold. Actually, no, sorry, that was Nyx, the alibi. A little cheeky in towards Strip. Actually, it might have been Hot and Cold because he dropped down the goo mine there, but Nyx, yeah, he is clear and safe with the Jackal pings. He's on the opposite side of the wall from Bosco, though, inside of Jim. He's got the electronic detector ready. He's going to get droned out. Now Bosco pre-firing in through the soft wall. And a minute has been burnt, so once again, DarkZero going back to the roam, but it seems like they've left Nyx on an island, and now he'll be Jackal tracked inside of Logistics. He does have that rotate. Oh, he crosses right in front of the door frame, and now Bosco will take this gunfight. Nyx stands no chance. Brian holding down his garage rotate. It should have ever come to that, but Space Station Gaming again dismantle what was established from DarkZero on the roam, and now they'll convert to a site execute. This time DarkZero have more than 2 members alive.
Oh, you know what? Hey, we have Rampy and Bosco that can do damage. Chala and Brian are doing a great job between them as playing those support / flex on the team. Thinking Nate is in there as well, playing the flexible and, you know, late round holds that they require. Overall, Space Station are kind of not giving DarkZero any room to breathe, and this is just not great. I like this setup from DarkZero. This is a great setup to deal with Thermite. Thermite that just wants to go into Church and takes onto Church Wall, which is an old strategy, but it works pretty darn well. That's the way to deal with it, and that's something that EG knows exactly how to do. And Bosco will find another one. That's BC taken away. Now the mirror's off. That's Nitro Cell away. And Hot and Cold is going to have a hard time locking down this hallway on his own. Brian's going to drop down. Chala will take a tiny bit of damage from the smoke charge being used in, but there's 35 seconds. There's a decent chunk of time for you to use against him, but Hot and Cold just runs in the middle, and he gets 2. Brian and Thinking Nate with one more on a Chala. The whole round just kind of falls apart here. The angles have been opened up for SSG to use, but if they're running around the stacks, Bosco will find one more kill on Jarvis. It's still not over yet. 14 seconds on the clock. The shotgun does it, and Hot and Cold for the second one on a Bosco. DarkZero salvaged the round out of nowhere. They might not be out just yet.
Who the actual hell was at the bottom of main stairs, and why did you stop looking down hallway?
Habana. The Habana.
Oh man, that's the round in the bag.
Because
keeps looking down the hallway.
Where did the first set of Xkyrus go? It went on the mirror window.
Yeah.
So you have to watch the mirror window.
Yeah.
But because you're watching the mirror window, nobody's watching the
At that point, you got to go to the other side of the door.
Exactly. But then
you got to trust that you can peek the Hibana holes quickly enough to get visibility, but you cannot sacrifice visibility on the main hallway. Hot and Cold walks up and grabs 2 for free and completely turns the outcome of that round. That's the game over. That's a blown assignment right there. And that's going to push DarkZero now to Gym Bedroom. So this is still salvageable here for Space Station. They can still get this win in timely fashion. Last thing you want to do, though, is allow DarkZero to play off that momentum of that round, finally bringing one back. You're really going to gotta crush their spirits here, honestly, early on. They've been getting that first pick. Bosco is heated up on the attacking side, playing the IQ. He needs to keep that going right now. And you cannot let DarkZero play with this momentum of getting that round. This has to be a lockdown right now for Space Station. Because I guarantee you, if DarkZero get their site, which will be back to CCTV and cash next round if they're victorious here on Gym Bedroom, that's heading towards another tie on Clubhouse.
yeah. It's definitely not a great spot to be in here. Suddenly Space Station go from in control to falling apart, and that's a basic mistake. They still can end it right then and there, obviously. Like, there's still one more round. Bosco and Rampy have been doing a ton of work on their own. This might have just been the round where it's like, okay, well, we made the mistake. This is the first round that they lose on their attacking side. You know, 3-1, it's not over by any means.
No. No, this is still looking good for Space Station. Like you said, they made a mistake. They can rectify it here with a round win here or the next round. Like I said, you just don't want to give DarkZero any momentum right now because it's the last thing they need. You've got them right where you want them. And looks like the pinch will be coming for Space Station over from the Cash side. Looks like BC's got a mirror hold inside of Cash. Jarvis going to take a little bit of damage. I
like the Xkyrus that it's... Why was one hanging in the air? They... How? How? They fixed the alignment. How is this happening? I don't know. I really don't.
Well, now you've got no more mirror window, and you've got a hole now for Charlie to hold off any peeks from the CCTV and server window. And now you've got BC on an island right now, literally behind the island inside of Cash, and you've got Nyx playing his top Cash stairs. Leaves 3 on site. Jarvis and Logistics, 1 in Master for Mint, and Hot and Cold to hold down the bathroom with a mirror window looking towards Jacuzzi as well. And it seems like Jim, it's the most obvious soft spot here, but you're going to have to deal with Mint on top of the mattress inside of Master. He's going to hold that down with a shotgun point blank or the SMG-11. Either one are going to rip through you at point blank pretty easily. The isolation of that window that the Chala is facilitating is massive, so this is still looking like a good take here for Space Station towards the gym side. They just have to either get rid of Mint on that master mattress. Oh god, as a Nitro Cell comes flying out from Hot and Cold, or you have to dispel Hot and Cold from his powerful position behind that mirror window inside a bathroom.
Yeah, well, what some teams will do is once the jacuzzi wall is open, they'll reinforce the entirety of the wall in the bathroom and just play the smoke off of the wall clips. Not the case in here. Oh no! If Rampy only knew, just so close. This is where you would love to have a teammate holding things down, because the Valkyrie camera is going to be instrumental. Mint running so close. The shotgun now in hand and not choosing to fire just yet. Oh, he'll find Brian. That's the first kill he wanted. Now they're not sure where he's pointed at. 12 seconds on the clock. Chala will find the kill. Dives right into him. Rampy will find it. That's Mint. That's Bosco as well with one more in a Hot and Cold. 2v3, but a diffuser is not set just yet. Focus on the objective. C4 thrown up from BC. Bosco and Chala know exactly what they're at, and the plant is coming, and it's gone right behind the reinforced wall. Nothing for BC to do. Chala will clean him up, and Space Station Gaming will pick up the final round and make it a victory at the end of the day. Excellently done with a 7-4 to blast off into victory.
Good bounce back round there from Chala. He's the saving grace at the end there after a missed assignment at the bottom of the main stairs, and well done to Space Station Gaming to pull that back. Now, oh boy, do we have a race in North America to the top. We're only done Playday number 10. Still have 4 more Playdays to go in North America to determine our top